Hello YouTube, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Wayne. I'm glad you could join me. Right, got the Fat Electrician reviews the A-10 Warthog. What a beast. I'll give it a like before we start. No, I like it. A few people have suggested this. Kathy Lee, thank you. Will, cool, thank you. But as well, because his video is pretty damn short, well, he's very short, I'm going to do two of this kind of shorts format. So one, I've written down Jer Walter. I don't know if I missed the Y out and it's Jerry Walter, but Jerry, Mr. Walter, I appreciate you blowing up a whale as well. Talking about a whale being blown up. But when I read it in the comments, I thought it was getting blown up by a warthog. I had visions of a warthog just going over a giant whale blowing it up. I thought that could not be any more American, could it? But turns out it's not a warthog that did it. It was some explosives or something. I read the little thing. But yeah, I'm interested in getting on with them both. And as well, off the back of the video that I did yesterday, the Berlin one, the Berlin airlift, incredible video. Reading through the comments as I always do, most of you agreed with me that communism, obviously, it is a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible idea. And I can understand why some people, like one person in the comments, seem to not necessarily like the idea of it, but don't see what's bad with it. To a lot of people on paper, communism seems nice and fair and stuff like that, but you just apply the slightest little bit of logic to it. It's no good taxing the rich people, as I did see a little bit of a debate going on as well. I say going on, someone replied to someone saying something about taxing the rich. You get rid of the rich. Like someone in the comments said, tax the rich because they don't get taxed nowhere near as much as the everyday person. But taxing the rich, if these people are rich legitimately through business and they're employing people, imagine how much more taxes are getting paid by the people that these people are employing. So I kind of think that do you know what I mean? You should get a bit of a break or not pay necessarily more. I do not know, but employers are an essential part of a society. I don't know, but I feel as though society as well, especially in the UK as well, I feel anybody can get benefits here. It's crazy, absolutely mental. But I feel as though that's a part of it, to bring communism in. But I'm reading too much into things as well. But no, on paper it does sound pretty nice, I suppose. But add logic to it and it breaks down instantly. But it's not as if it's been tried and tested and people can look up and see how it works out of the places where it does prevail. But anyway, enough of my rabbiting. I'm here to see what happens with the warthog anyway. I want to see what Nick says about this. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope that weren't too much of a waffling on. Let's go.
Today we're talking about America's greatest feat of engineering. Quite possibly the coolest fucking thing the Air Force has to offer. A weapon that is so iconic, even my 7-month-old child knows what it sounds like. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's
motherfucking
exactly what it sounds
A-10
like.
Warthog. A weapon that is so iconic, even my...
Sorry, I will remember to pause when I speak, because a lot of you have said pause.
Today we're talking about America's greatest feat of engineering. Quite possibly the coolest fucking thing the Air Force has to offer. A weapon that is so iconic, even my 7-month-old child knows what it sounds like. Ladies and gentlemen, the motherfucking A-10 Warthog. Now, if you don't know, the A-10 Warthog was originally designed during the...
It's going to get onto it, but as I say, I've only ever seen it like in shots as it's flying and hearing that noise. Incredible. A lot of it's through live footage, like war footage that I've watched. Someone in the comments did say, if you want to watch raw footage, check this video out, that video out. I do watch that stuff in real life, but I'm not sure I should watch it on here. Might get, what's the word, copyrighted or just straight up blocked. And that just reminded me as well, I did Man in the Red Bandana and it got blocked straight away. I filled out the necessary forms and that, so it might get released, it may not. But if other people have reacted to it, I imagine it'll get released. But yeah, no, my point was stopping at this gun. Look at the size of that. It's nearly as big as the nose. It's as big as the nose of that plane. Jesus Christ.
Cold War in an sounds like. Ladies and gentlemen, the motherfucking A-10 Warthog. Now, if you don't know, the A-10 Warthog was originally designed during the Cold War in an effort to be able to combat Russian tanks, or as I like to call them, in a hurry tanks. Being able to take out a tank with a fucking...
In a hurry tanks. I'm not getting the joke. There's a joke there. Hurrying to get out of there. I don't know.
Plane isn't that big of an accomplishment. But it's the fucking tone that the A-10 does it with that makes it so goddamn American. Does it do it with missiles? No. Does it do it with bombs? No. It does it with a gun so fucking big that they don't even call the pilot a pilot. His official...
I hope it does get into the measurements and that, the size of the cannons. I don't know, but they look absolutely monstrous. What size are the rounds coming out of there?
Name is the stick of bombs. No. It does it with a gun so fucking big that they don't even call the pilot a pilot. His official name is the stick operator. Because to be a pilot, you have to be flying a plane, and this isn't a plane, it's a fucking gun with wings. Ladies and gentlemen, the A-10 Warthog's gun, or as I like to call it, the Freedom Stick.
Freedom Stick.
Yeah,
Jesus
that's a
Christ.
fucking car. Officially known as a car. Officially known...
Oh, I want to see that. That's mental. I'm hoping it gets into it in this, but if not, I'll eventually find a longer video about it. So I want to know all the specs and that. See, I do love my war machines.
Yeah, that's a fucking car. Officially known as the General Electric GAU-8. Yeah, this gun's made by General Electric, like the people that made your fucking fridge. Because that's just how American companies get down. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress to you how fucking big this gun really is. That is the bullet.
There we go. A breakdown for people like me. Rather than saying this size in numbers and that, give me a true scale to put it next to. Jesus Christ. Out of its jacket, it's at least half the size of the... I don't know much about it. My dad shoots, he has a license and that, but I don't go very often. So I don't know the names and stuff, technical names and that. So that is a jacket in it. Obviously, that's a bullet, the projectile. But the projectile itself is absolutely monstrous. So, well, tank buster sort of thing, isn't it? So it's bound to be.
It is so big that in the prototype models, when they would fire the gun, it would deprive the engine of oxygen and kill the engine. So then obviously you would scrap it because this is just completely unpractical. Fuck no, this is America. We're going to program that starter to go off right after we shoot the gun. That way the engine doesn't fucking stall out. Now ask me why the tip is blue. I'll tell you why.
I was
because
wondering
if this
that.
wasn't a big enough fuck you, they decided to
Explosive.
make the round fucking uranium. You see, uranium's denser, therefore weighing more per square centimeter, which means it's going to have...
See, my stupid brain then. Uranium. I thought that was a chemical, what the hell? Not nuclear. I don't know what words I'm trying to say.
Because if this wasn't a big enough fuck you, they decided to make the round fucking uranium. You see, uranium's denser, therefore weighing more...
Why did I think uranium was some sort of... I never knew uranium was a metal. My God. In my 40s, I learned something. I'm going to learn. I know that I've got so much to learn. Absolutely hell of a lot. My God. Not just American stuff, but stuff in general.
Per square centimeter, which means it's... Why? Because if this wasn't a big enough fuck you, they decided to make the round fucking uranium. You see, uranium's denser, therefore weighing more per square centimeter, which means it's going to have more force on impact. You know, in case you want to take out the tank that's hiding behind another tank. Now, having a gun this big means you lose mobility. So how do you handle that? Well, that's easy. You just design it to take
big
bullets.
engines.
Well, how do you do that? You put the stick operator in a 38 millimeter thick titanium bathtub. Hold on, I'll convert it to freedom units. Carry the 2 World War wins, add the Second Amendment. It's about 1.5 inches. You thought I was going to start doing metric shit when I said centimeter earlier, didn't you? Nah. In conclusion, I don't know who designed this freedom-spitting masterpiece. I've got to assume it's a result of giving a grunt an engineering degree and a pile of cocaine, and it's fucking beautiful. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy my content and you'd maybe like to buy me a beer about it, there's a link to my beer fund in my bio. There's also a link in my bio to my YouTube channel. This video could get taken down for whatever fucking reason. So until next time, thank you for your service.
Oh, the Freedom Stick. I love that. A purple alpaca. Right, no, brilliant. But,
Can you please just hear me?
As suggested here by I don't know whether I'm missing the way out, Jerry Walter or Joe Walter, but Mr. Walter, I appreciate you massively for the one that I'm going to do now, blowing up at a whale. Blowing up a whale. But I can't remember what I said at the beginning, but when I read it in the comments to check this one out as well, I thought it was the Warthog that was blowing it up. But no. £1,000 of tutnut. Right. Give it a like. See, not far away from me a few years back, just before the pandemic. Oh, I don't even know if you're allowed to say that on here. Before that weird thing that happened not so long ago, there was a whale up the beach. I don't know what happened to it. Loads of people went up and had a look. Literally, I look out my window and I can just about see the sea. But no, they explode, don't they, on their own anyway, so they've got to get rid of it. Right, let's go.
Today we're talking about that time that America blew up a whale. Yeah. And no, this is not going to be one of those times where a dead whale washes up on the shore, gets all bloated, and somebody pokes it with a stick. Nah. Somebody from the government showed up with 1,000 pounds of TNT, stuffed it underneath a dead whale in an effort to either vaporize it and or yeet it back into the ocean.
I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Zydax Custom Gaming PCs. With a lifetime warranty on all parts and labor and all their manufacturing and tech support.
We have enough adverts in life.
Of this people right here in America. It
that
is
was
a
only a short one.
that I would recommend, and I'll have them linked in the description below. Our story begins in the state of Oregon in 1913. At the time, there were no major highways. Because of this, people treated the coastline and the beaches like they were a giant highway, literally driving their cars and horse-drawn carriages up and down it all the time. Because of this, the governor at the time would declare all the coastline in Oregon from California to Washington as a public highway, which also meant that it was public land. This would set in course a series of events that 57 years later would cause America to try to send the biggest animal on Earth, or at least a chunk of it, into outer space. Now, fast forward to November of 1970, a 45-foot, 16,000-pound whale washes up dead on the coast of Oregon. Obviously, this is a problem, or as the journalists on site that day described it,
a stinking whale of a problem.
Yeah, we've got this on tape. So how do you handle such a problem? Well, if you were in California, you would call the California Coastal Commission. If you were in Florida, you would call the Florida Department of Environmental Protections. But because all the beaches in Oregon to this day are still considered highways, they ended up calling the State Highway Division, which is basically a bunch of construction workers. Now, this is some bureaucratic bullshit if I've ever heard it. There was absolutely a different agency that was more equipped to handle this situation, but it was probably a Friday and they didn't want to have to work late. So they pulled the old, well, technically card and sent in the construction workers. And all those guys heard was, you get to go home as soon as the whale is gone, to which they promptly said, get the dynamite, we're going home early. Which is like the ultimate Uno reverse card, because they turn this losing scenario into the ultimate win-win scenario. Not only are they going to get to go home early, they're also never going to get told to do this dumb shit again, and they get to be the guys that blew up a whale with dynamite. And the best part is they've got an airtight defense, because when you're doing government work, everybody knows that when you don't know what you're doing, you just fall back onto your standard operating procedures. And what do you do when you're building a road and there's an obstruction in the way? Like, I don't know, a mountain. You blow it the fuck up. Mountain, whale, potato, potato, get the fucking dynamite, we're doing this. Now, obviously, there's some more common sense solutions that we could have done. Like, I don't know, maybe cut it into smaller pieces or burn it. The head engineer in charge of the construction workers was asked that very question, to which he responded,
it couldn't be cut up and then buried because nobody wanted to cut it up.
And then, of course, there's the obvious question, what if this doesn't work? What if there's still a giant chunk of whale left over? To which he responded,
if there's any large chunks left, we may have to do some other cleanup, possibly set another charge.
See, this guy knows what's up. It was never a question of whether or not blowing it up would work. The only question...
I'm loving the look on the guy's face as well. He's got kind of a smirk like this is going to be fun.
If there's any large chunks left, we may have to do some other cleanup, possibly set another charge.
See, this guy knows what's up. It was never a question of whether or not blowing it up would work. The only question there was how much TNT was it going to take? And if you didn't use enough the first time, double tap. That's accuracy by volume. This is how America was built. Or unbuilt. Whatever. Anyways, let's stop beating around the bush and just show this whale getting blown up. Play the clip.
Oh!
All right, Fred, you can take your hands out of your ears.
Fucking hell.
Bet you didn't think you'd see that today, did you? Okay, you
Nope.
just saw that and I just saw that, but let's go ahead and hear what the reporter on the ground had to say about it.
With a blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds.
Dude's got bars. That's fucking
That was
poetry.
good.
I hope he gets a raise. Now, as I'm sure you noticed, there was
I wanted to say that. I can't even remember what he said now. Blubber got blown, something. I thought the exact same thing. It was
the
great.
reporter on the ground had to say about it.
With a blasted blubber beyond all
The blasted blubber. That is great.
believable bounds.
Dude's got bars. That's fucking poetry. I hope he gets a raise. Now, as I'm sure
Agreed.
you noticed, there was giant chunks of meat still falling out of the sky like 3 seconds after the explosion. Thankfully, however, nobody was actually struck and severely hurt by one of those. However, I think I speak for all of us when I say how much damage would that actually do. Thankfully, as luck would have it, a car a quarter mile away in a parking lot that was empty was struck by one of these meteorites. And here's a clip of it.
Before we see it, I imagine it. You think about it again. Apply a little bit of logic. A massive whale, chunks of it. If you fell from 300 feet in the air or whatever onto something, it's going to cause a mess to whatever you're hitting it. As long as it's not just concrete. If you hit a car or something, I imagine you're going to dent the hell out of it. Crush it. I don't know. So a chunk of whale going to be much bigger than a human, depending on the size of the chunk, of course.
Of one large chunk, the passenger compartment literally smashed. Fortunately, no human was hit as badly as the car. However,
Oh, it's only a small piece as well.
Small
Jesus.
particles of dead whale.
Okay, first of all, how are you going to explain that to your
See, in my mind, I was expecting like a huge chunk that probably do that sort of damage. But yeah, velocity in it. I feel as though whale blubber weighs a lot more than human blubber. Oh, it's blubber. I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a clue.
Literally smashed. Fortunately, no human was hit as badly as the car. However, everyone on the scene was covered with small particles of dead whale.
Okay, first of all,
Oh,
how are you going to
nice.
explain that to your insurance? Nobody's going to believe that shit. Secondly, do you know how much fucking force it takes to cave in the roof of a car? Those are reinforced and designed to withstand the rollover of the vehicle. So I think it's safe to say these meat mortars can do damage. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the
mortar.
most significant
You got
piece of
Mars
news
too.
to ever come out of the state of Oregon. I mean, the only thing that could make this story better is if this was actually the final level of the Oregon Trail video game growing up. Not only that, it is probably the most significant scientific contribution that the trades
Is that a real game?
industry has ever made. Because these guys just figured out that a 16,000 pound whale can in fact be deleted by 1,000 pounds of dynamite. Meaning that we now actually know for sure that it's a 16-to-1 blubber to black powder ratio. This is invaluable information. In conclusion, just so we're all clear on the timeline of significant human events. In 1966, America would make one giant leap for mankind when we created the Mark 19, aka a machine gun that shoots fucking grenades. Then, not knowing where to direct our superior scientific endeavors, we just stole the Soviets' goal of putting a man on the moon and did it first to prove a point. That was in 1969. And then we got back to making real scientific contributions to mankind when we figured out how much TNT it took to delete a whale. America. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at FatElectrician.com. Whale gone. Quack bang out.
Anything at the end? Gotta wait till the end. No, not this time. It doesn't seem like. Absolutely brilliant, both, and fascinating. I want to see a longer video at Warthog at some point. But yeah, that whale one, absolutely mental. See, it looked as though they was all going to get covered in it, but I feel as though whale blubber might be heavier than human blubber. But anyway, I ain't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. I wanted to ask this as well. Right, I'm reading comments as well. People how they make their teas. I always drink hot tea. I love it. But I want to make what's it called? Iced tea. Can I actually use this, or do I have to order something specific? Because when I do it, I reckon I'm going to film myself doing it and getting the instructions off YouTube while I'm doing it. But yeah, let me know if I have to get a specific brand. Because I want to try it. As I said before, I did have Lipton ice out of a can, like, in the mid-90s or something. I don't know when it were, but I was a kid. I was young. But yeah, anyway, that was brilliant, and I'll be coming back for more. So yeah, I hope you guys do too. Give us a thumbs up if you want to. Put stuff in the comments for me to read and react to, and please consider subscribing. I massively appreciate the lot on you. I couldn't do it without you. So yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. Bye-bye.